fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Welcome, episode 6, Fuel Come Fire podcast, Association Bristol Metal Quarter. I'm Tom, as always, the Irish one. I'm joined by...
Me! I'm still here! Mateo! Girlboy Got Tattooing. It was nice to be here, nice to be back. How we doing? Episode 6 already.
I know, right?
Mad. And we're joined today by a very special guest. Yeah, one that I've been saying that I want to get on the podcast for a while. We are joined by Paul Collier from Perp Walk.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I've had a few too many beers already.
Don't worry. It's all good. No need to, not on formalities or anything. But yeah, I mean, me and Paul go kind of like pretty far back now, don't we?
Yeah, pretty far. I would want to say mid 2010s.
Yeah, 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
I think it's probably
Kind
when
of
I
like
first...
Griffin brought you together.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And I think just the scene in general, I remember I first heard about you because you've been in like loads of bands like just back in the day and stuff, and then like just being around the kind of like that early hardcore kind of gallows, what I always call the gallows era of like UK hardcore, I guess. I don't know whether that's right or not.
It's one of those things where like obviously I knew about you because you were booking for the Griffin at the time.
Yeah.
So
Best man in Bristol,
Griffin, by the way. And like, yeah, we're just looking for just gigs around as 17, 18 year old kids. We just became friends from that, really.
Yeah, I think so. And just like
you promoted gigs together, didn't you?
We did a couple. We did one or two, didn't we? We were just talking about that downstairs, weren't we? We did the Brotherhood of the Lake one, which we were really hoping. So Brotherhood of the Lake were a Plymouth outfit, and they'd like come off the back of like touring with Gallows and having their stuff reviewed in Kerrang, and we were really hoping it was going to be quite a big gig, and unfortunately I think we both ended up about like 150 quid out of pocket each on that one.
Why? What happened?
That's what you get. Just not many people turn out.
No, okay.
Like the scene at that time was a little weird because like in comparison to now, because like it used to be quite a struggle to get people to come out to gigs and stuff.
Still is.
Which it still is, but like less so. Like the pandemic, especially in like the hardcore and punk and metal kind of scenes, like have kind of just changed things really. Like whereas there's an influx of, at least for the smaller gigs I've noticed, just a lot of more shows like sell out on the doors and stuff like that now. Whereas
there's a lot more small venues doing it as well.
And if you rewind back like to pre-pandemic, it's not the case.
Like, people felt a lot more picky back before the pandemic, didn't they? And now, even though we're so many years out, I agree with you. I think that there's still a feeling of like people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to something. Like I'm going to go out.
Yeah,
you know,
feels like forever ago since we're talking about a pandemic, doesn't it?
I know, right?
It's only 4 years, but
but I think that is something that's held over, and I think in a way it's really made a lot of and I think sometimes because we're all a little bit older, we forget like there's a whole generation of kids that like turned 18 and like all this stuff that had to do that all through lockdown, so they kind of were denied like this whole kind of like just being able to go out. So to them it's like when the lockdowns all ended, they were like, oh fuck, I can finally go and watch all these bands that I've been wanting to watch. I can do it on my own, I can drink, I can do whatever.
The pandemic was very good for music creativity. One of the things I really liked about it was random people that knew each other, like small bands, big bands, all sorts of bands, would just start jamming together digitally and didn't record a song. It was like, that's actually awesome. And there's like so many styles coming together.
Talkie Horror I was talking about, like I said before in other episodes, Talkie Horror were like that. They were a lockdown band.
In a lot of respects, not to talk about my own band too.
No, go on. We're going to be asking you about Perp Walk,
but like our band was more or less born out of the COVID period anyway. Like as a day job, I worked for the NHS as a decontamination technician at the time.
Wow. That's pretty metal.
For endoscopy, which was a bit gross, but we moved. At the time, I was working as a cleaner in the very early throes of the pandemic, and
that must have been a bit of a scary time.
It was scary as hell. Yeah.
That's mad. I didn't know that. That's mad.
For like the. I worked there. I started there the year before, and basically saw everything kind of like change from like. I've lived in Cardiff even though I'm from Bristol originally. So to work in one of the busy hospitals in Wales in UHW, for it to be really, really busy all day long. To all the corridors going completely dead.
So you're still in the NHS?
Yes, I've been working there now for about 5 years.
Nice.
So it's something I'm particularly proud of.
Don't worry, we're not going to give you like a patronising round of applause or anything.
Oh, no, you're... But yeah, cut to where everything was just opening up again and stuff.
For the first or second or third time.
And in Wales as well, that happened a lot of times. Dan, who's the guitarist in my band,
Perp Walk, for listeners.
For Perp Walk, he basically had demos written for what would be our first 7-inch, and it kind of was a case of like I was looking for another band to start, because prior to the pandemic I was in a band that broke up in the January of 2020. Then COVID happened, so I didn't have another opportunity to start another band at that particular point, or leave my house. And it got to a point where like I put the word out on Facebook being like, does anyone want to start a band or whatever? He saw it, sent me all these demos.
Oh, that's cool.
Did you straight up want to do hardcore, or was it any band? What was your...
any kind of band really. I think at that point I would have done, but like hardcore has been really my main interest. So like anything, but I've never been in like a hardcore punk kind of band, like a band which is still hardcore but with like a punk kind of influence or edge to it.
Yeah.
Everything I'd kind of been up until that point has mainly been, well, the band I was in before was more of like a metallic hardcore band, so influenced by bands like Bitter End and things of that nature.
Yeah. So this was like the more kind of punky kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like what I'd really wanted to do for ages was to be in a band that sounded like, there's a band from London who was part of the straight edge wave in the early 2010s called Iron Curtain.
Oh yeah, Iron Curtain.
Whose demo was one of my favorites of all time. And I really wanted to start a band that sounded somewhat like that in some respect.
Did you achieve it? I don't know Iron Curtain.
I don't know if I actually achieved that, but I feel that for the time period it was, and because it still was, like we've had like 3 releases now in the space of the time we've been a band, and that's still probably my favourite one because of the songs that probably the lyrics are probably my favourite I've written, like the time period as well that I wrote them in is still really meaningful to me. Yeah. And it...
Best way to write.
Yeah, and it just all came together like as like naturally and as how I saw everything as
that's really cool.
How did the rest of the band form then? So Dan gave you the demo, you were interested, then...
It kind of came from Dan recruiting other people around me. So everything I wrote after he sent it to me, I wrote in about a month, and then I didn't hear from Dan for about a good 6 months to a year, I would say. And then he came out, messaged me out of the blue, being, I've found like people around
I've got the musicians.
And
so
he
put you on hold, as in like
it didn't put me on hold so much,
but I'm going to find someone else.
He didn't put me on a hold so much, but like I think he was just waiting for the kind of light to forward to place for itself before he kind of got back in contact with me, being like, "Do you want to start practicing this?"
Yeah, I'll find the right people as well to do it. You know, like,
so like the original lineup of it was me and Dan, and then our old bassist Ian. Weirdly, Ian has been in a bunch of different bands, but it included Iron Curtain, who I mentioned earlier. He actually played on that demo.
That's pretty cool.
Actually, which I didn't realise until later on.
That's very cool.
That's great.
And shout to Ian, he gave me like one of the like that demo on tape as well, which I didn't have, and I really treasure it now. But it was him and like a guy called Kenny who'd been. I think he played in a band called Headcase, who were quite popular a little while ago. They were on like 30 Days of Night Records a little while back. And then Kenny left because his work kind of got in the way of him being in the band a little bit, which we kind of respected at the time. And then
it's a big commitment, isn't it? When you starting a band or getting like lichens with a band, and suddenly it's like a decision of, do I drop my job? Do I not?
Yeah, and then he was self-employed as well. He had his own like graphic design business kind of going. So like it was one of those things.
Yeah, somebody who's self-employed. I mean, it is a tough one because it's the blessing and the curse. The blessing is, in theory, you could take off as much time as you want and tour as much as you want, but then the problem is all the
You've no
time you're
money
taking
coming
off,
in.
you're not making any
Yeah.
money. So, yeah.
And then from that, Jay joined the band, which is somebody that Dan knew from through a mutual friend of ours. And then Ian one day was like, I think we should. Well, this is basically kind of how it went down for getting Nat in the band, who's our guitarist, being like, we should get a go guitarist, and I was like, yeah, cool. And then like, and not dismissing it, I was just being like, cool. Could you just sometimes
just have a guitarist?
Sometimes you just like throw stuff out there, and I feel like what? And be like, okay.
But sometimes you have to like, in a way, like make that choice and kind of like make the thing out there. I mean, I'd say this, like, so the band that I started like very early doors. It was me and my friend Jamie, and obviously I'm NB and Jamie's trans, and we kind of made that decision of like, we are actually going to try and make this like a kind of like a transgender non-conforming outfit. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you have to kind of make that call of like, you know, we actually are going to try and just kind of go after.
Sometimes it
people
makes things easier because you might
and we're all
cross
on the
people
same
who are not
frame
used
of
to it,
reference
you know?
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But so
absolutely.
in a way, sometimes throwing that out there, like that's what then the universe will then kind of give that back if you put that effort. You know,
I mean that's awesome.
instead of just grabbing like any guitarist that you potentially could. You know?
Guitarists are plentiful.
They say that, they get upset.
It was the thing as well where he brought it up again, and I was just like, well, like, because she's correct. I like to base my be like, I want this person in the band, not by if they can fucking play.
Yeah.
And he sends me this video over to us. This video, girl head down, Tony Iommi guitar, fucking shredding. I'm like, that's the fucking person.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So like
That ticks a lot of boxes.
and she, from her joining the band, she's been my favourite fucking person in the entire world.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, so yeah, that's basically how our initial lineup kind of came together, and then
You're all Bristol based. I know you said you're Cardiff now, but
yeah. So like everybody is Bristol based for the most part. So like I'm initially from Bristol, from Frampton Cotterell, if anyone knows where that is. Jay's initially from there as well. But he lives in the centre of town now. Dan's initially from Reading, but he lives here.
good move.
Yeah, probably a better move.
Reading, yeah. Shout out to Reading.
And all our one listeners
Two
there.
fair shout out to Reading Hardcore as well. They've got a 6 there.
There you go. Yeah, that's good.
And then Nat was living in Bristol at the time that she joined. She's recently just moved to Lyme Regis, where she's got a house now.
Oh, nice.
That's a bit of a hike for a midweek rehearsal.
I mean, we practice when we can practice, and Nat has actually just passed the driving test now as well. So
cool.
so hopefully
That'll
that will
make
fall
things a
into
bit
place a
easier.
little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you have a rehearsal place in Bristol? Or?
We practice at RS Studios because it's cheap and it's.
It's a place to practice.
Jesus
Ticks all
Christ, as long
boxes.
as you know the roof's not leaking and like.
Provided there's no black mold poisoning.
Yeah,
Please
exactly.
don't kill
Yeah.
me, but yeah,
You're not supposed to lick black mold. Oh,
I mean, there's a lot of black mold. It's been like put it this way. It was one of the first places that when I was 17 started playing in bands and stuff. We used to practice there, and it's still
exactly the same.
the same. Yeah, completely and utterly the same.
Yeah.
as it
I
was.
love it.
So yeah, I've got nothing but respect for them to
Yeah, solid. Good
But yeah, also our now bassist Connor, because I should mention Ian left it last year.
Yeah.
And then Connor replaced Ian. Connor's from Aberdare in South Wales, but lives in Bristol.
Nice.
Currently lives in
Cool.
So.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier about the scene pre-pandemic. It was one of the things I was going to ask you about. The hardcore scene in Bristol seems pretty alive.
Yeah, it's pretty insane considering like despite the fact that I don't live here anymore, my ties have always been pretty close to here, being that my family still live here, and I'm back and forth between here and Cardiff more or less week upon week.
It's only an hour-ish.
Yeah, hour-ish. To see it kind of go from a scene that's kind of like had shows being very hit or miss, like it used to, like back in the time, especially when I was doing shows and playing my gigs with my first band and stuff, it could be you have a show where there's maybe like 20 or 30 people if that. And cut to now where like it's just bouncing off the walls in terms of the amount of shows
Well,
there
really
are.
bouncing off the walls.
It's like the amount of shows that there are, how busy the shows are, the amount of like new bands at the moment that are coming out.
100%, yeah. I think that's a big
it's
mark
so
of the scene, isn't it? Is that there's a lot of like new Bristol bands. You know, like obviously we're going to talk about the gig yesterday, the Spy gig a little bit. The thing, you know, Tension, Uncertainty, like blah blah. I could rattle off like quite a few that have like started up, but I think there's going to be more.
It feels also that it's kind of targeting the younger audience, as in like they're bringing a new energy to it. They're then enjoying it. More and more bands are getting involved in it, and it's kind of helping the whole scene, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say that.
Yeah.
For real. Like,
what's it like to the rest of the UK, Bristol-wise, you think? You said Reading has a good one. Manchester obviously has a good one.
So Reading has a good one. They're my friends. Like the South Wales scene is really sick at the moment. They've got the SWC people like holding it down. Newport. London's always been insane.
Yeah, but London. It's always just got its own things for every genre.
I thought hardcore was big in London.
Yeah. It's
for years since like the early 90s, it's been
really
insane.
Yeah. But London's just always
big
going to
enough,
have a
isn't
scene
it,
of any genre of music. London's got a scene of it.
Like Birmingham's scene's really good at the moment. Manchester as well.
Yeah.
We keep being asked about shows in Manchester with our band.
Well, there you go. Hey, well, you played Outbreak. Played Outbreak this year. Played Outbreak
Did you
this year.
headline second stage?
We did not headline. Bib headlined the third stage, which we played, and we got very lucky in terms of like the crowd and the reaction that we had to it. We were meant to like clash the same time as Balance of Composure, who were one of my favorite ever like kind of alternative rock, emo, kind of like hardcore like bands, and
kind of annoying you're playing at the same time as a band you want to see.
Yeah. Well, I was even more annoyed because like I'm a massive Ceremony fan. They're like one of my favorite ever hardcore bands, and like they were on when we had to go and set up for our stage, so I was upset. I could only see like 3 songs of them, but I've seen them about 1 million times before, so I was
kind of cool to say you're at the same festival, isn't it?
It's very cool.
Like, silver lining.
There was so many bands at that as well that was cool. Like playing with Have Heart, who were like such an influential band for me. Like
I remember them from back in the day. They were right up there, weren't they? Yeah.
So my first band, Bats for Those. In the Bristol
I remember.
area,
I remember. Yes.
Like so, Tom and James, who played drums and guitar in that band, were 2 of my best friends. Like our parents moved down from. So basically, both my parents are from Hertfordshire area. Yeah. They worked in the Hertfordshire area with their parents. They moved. Then they got relocated from Hertfordshire down to Bristol. There was a bunch of people who.
So you guys all got relocated together, basically.
Yeah, and they grew up around the corner from me. So like,
you guys were really good. I always really enjoyed you guys. That's why I used to enjoy putting you guys on bills and stuff, because I just thought that you guys were genuinely really good.
Yeah.
Were you hardcore style again then?
Yeah. So it was there's like different iterations of that as well. So our first EP with that was more geared towards bands like Gallows, Every Time I Die, The Ghost of 1,000, the Bronx as well. Like
the Bronx still going.
And then stuff kind of there was a part of hardcore which there was like a UK swell thing, which was like bands like Good Time Boys, Bastions, Paraiso, The Long Haul, like bands such as those, and then our sound we mimicked our sound a little bit to what those bands were doing too, and also there was a band called Throats who are like a grindcore band.
I remember them.
They were a huge influence.
You're sparking a lot of old rotten memories from the back of the rotted out fish tank that is my brain. It's like a lot of things are coming out of the album. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember them.
I honestly think that if it weren't for Throats, like That's What Bats wouldn't have been a band, because they creatively just changed everything for us. To hear a band just be as brutal and as creative as they were, it was nuts for me.
I'm guessing they're still not a thing?
They're not a thing anymore, unfortunately. Their guitarist now plays in a band called I don't want to get it right because there's a lot of bands with a similar name, but I think it's Still in Love. So it's like the singer of a band called Dead Swans, who are like, again, another huge influence on me. I think if it went for that band, I wouldn't be in hardcore, if I'm honest. But
that's quite a statement.
I know, and they know that too. I've said to them personally too. But like, it is basically singing from them, the drummer from Brutality Prevail, who are amazing hardcore band from South Wales, Wales. And then him and like two other guitarists, two other people that I can't really remember off the top of my head. But like,
I love this though too, because this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the podcast, is because obviously like I talk about like I'm into my hardcore, but I'm really rubbish with things like history, or I forget band names and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
For like years.
I think they're from Scandinavia.
Yeah, Hellfecken, whatever they're called. I got it so wrong. And then, where were they from? Where were they from?
Northeast England.
Northeast England.
So close.
Apologies to them again for the third.
Playing this weekend, in fact.
Yeah.
We'll come to that.
But yeah, was like one of the reasons is because like your knowledge of like hardcore, especially like the UK hardcore scene, and like your passion for it. Like there was like quite a while where, in a way, I know you weren't the only person, but you were kind of one of the main flag bearers. Like we were talking about, like the kind of early 2010s, kind of a bit later. You were like one of the main flag bearers for Bristol, like the Bristol hardcore scene, kind of through thick and thin.
Yeah.
When it wasn't as popular and it wasn't as like cool, and you know, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but you know what I mean. Like it was, and it was like you know, still all these bands like going out and like, you know, playing shows, even if it was to 5 people or was to like 50 people, or it didn't matter. Like, you know, you were one of the people that was always there. You were always promoting shows. You were always doing that. You were playing in bands. And I always like, it's one of the reasons why I always really like chatting to you about it. And you helped me to get into a lot of bands because of like the way that you're so passionate, and you knew like, and you were like, oh, they're this band. And I go, oh, cool. I'd never heard of them. Go and listen to them. Oh, this is really sick. I really like it. So like, you introduced me to like a lot of like bands that I had no idea about, and so you helped me to get more into like hardcore. So
and hopefully you'll get some of our listeners into it as well. Hopefully they'll check out some of the bands, including Perp Walk.
And thank you. That's really kind of you.
That's all right. No. But I really mean that. You know, so it's like. That's why I always find fascinating is like your kind of knowledge of like the kind of scene as a whole, because obviously like hardcore, just like any musical genre, is like one of those ones where there's like what is this and what is that, and there's like post-hardcore and there's this and like there's that, and you know, like there's a lot of different, and it even has its crossovers with things like kind of old school emo, and like there's a lot of like these different kind of things in there.
Post-punk and
like more like the thrashy like Spy, so you know, like that we saw last night.
I was very surprised at his vocals actually. We'll get to it later, but was not expecting those vocals.
Know, but that definitely, like, I've managed now to kind of distinguish. You can hear that kind of California-y kind of slightly kind of like sound that they've got, isn't it? Like, you know, like they've got that kind of obviously was it Trash Talk? They were like always the big kind of hitters for quite a long time.
Love them. Still love them.
It's pretty cool that you've seen the scene from being very small and kind of really underground to kind of what it was last night. Last night was hopping. Like we'll talk about it a little bit later, but that was
like I it's one of those things as well where like I kind of have influenced a lot as well by people that came before me. So like
of course,
my friend Tom, who used to play in a band called Back Down, was a big component of me kind of like knowing about what the Bristol scene was like prior to my involvement, I guess, in it.
But that's it now, Paul. You see, now you're the elder statesman. You've become, you're the elder statesman now. You're the one that the kids are all coming to going, please, Paul, tell us, share your knowledge with us about the hardcore scene.
I mean, we're doing it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to have that conversation with people as well. Yeah. Because, like, if it means that people are educated about it the right way.
Yeah. Well, I know that you're not the biggest fan of them and stuff, but I guess we have to also talk. There is obviously at the moment, you could kind of say, like in the zeitgeist with bands like Turnstile and bands like Knock Loose and stuff like that, there is genuinely this weird thing where these kind of bands are becoming weirdly kind of not like mainstream, but they're kind of being accepted by a lot of what we would call like the kind of more mainstream music press and the more like mainstream.
I would say Turnstile are definitely hitting that box.
Yeah.
I mean, there's videos of Metallica standing there side stage watching them.
Yeah.
It's pretty huge.
It's really weird, especially with Turnstile, to think about it, because like I basically with Outbreak Fest, I've been going to it since 20.
What fest?
Outbreak Fest.
Outbreak Fest. Where is that?
It's a fest. So before that festival got like huge, it was basically in like a community centre in Sheffield where it started.
Nice.
And so.
With no windows, I'm guessing, so you can't destroy anything.
Oh, there was windows. There was.
Was there any left?
No. But like, basically, I've been going to that festival since I found out about it, really, and then cut to the 2014 era of it, and Turnstile headlined it, and I think to my knowledge, that's probably the first time they've ever headlined in the UK as well.
Wow, that's mad.
But like to see them kind of go from that, and I think the last time I ever saw them in like a smaller venue was them headlining a band called Forced Order, who are like a really sick band from California that I managed to put on kind of a little while later.
Yeah.
And then there was a band from London at the time called Blind Authority, who are the guitars of. I went to uni with them, kind of funny enough. But to think of that kind of era Turnstile as opposed to like the era now. It's just so strange.
It's mad. Yeah. Seeing them
like.
They still sound similar, just a bigger volume.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know.
More pop, more dreamy pop.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
It's like, okay, you can say
that. Like,
I don't think they'll listen to our podcast.
I feel that they keep true to the music they've always done.
Yeah,
and it's hard to like really sometimes like. I mean, they're still. I think, for what I understand, they're still active in whatever scene they're part of. I know the singer is also like the drummer in Trapped Under Ice.
Right, I was right about that. So in the past, remember when I said about that? Because I love Trapped Under Ice. They're one of my favourite bands. And
weird enough, this is a funny like Outbreak Fest story as well. Yeah. So like, I was meant to see them play the first Outbreak Fest I went to. The guy who, basically a guy that I didn't know at the time, who I've now lost contact with since, he said that I could stay on his like hotel floor and stuff because I didn't know anybody in Sheffield and didn't have any money to pay for a hotel or whatever. So it was like,
Don't really go to an underground kind of hardcore festival and go to the Radisson.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't afford that.
It's not really part of the scene.
I mean, as a student at the time, I couldn't have.
Yeah. So like, you stayed at this guy's hotel.
Yeah. So like, basically, the top three, the touring bands at the time that Outbreak Fest was around was Trapped Under Ice, Backtrack, Broken Teeth.
Nice.
Broken Teeth being from Manchester.
Yeah.
Backtrack being from New York, and Trapped Under Ice being Baltimore.
Yeah.
Get 30 seconds into Broken Teeth set, and a guy I'm staying with breaks his finger to where you can see the finger sticking out of his hand.
Wait, is that, and that's the...
And that's the guy I'm maybe staying with.
Yeah.
So I
need your key before I go to hospital.
So I basically have to leave this fest to go to hostel with him.
Yeah.
I'm there, I miss Backtrack.
Oh no.
Which I basically went to the fest really to see.
Oh no, that's so gutting.
But thankfully, I saw him in Bristol the next day, so it all worked out.
Fine. Yeah.
It wasn't as good,
but
it
at least you got to see him.
But it was sick. Like, honestly, there's those experiences and stuff like that.
But that's what being, going to. Yeah, I mean, I remember that, being really young and like when the first time I lived in Devon, when I was like in my kind of like early to like mid like teens and stuff, I used to go to Plymouth when Plymouth vaguely had a scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's got 16 now.
I don't know, but Plymouth's so bad, you don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, Plymouth's such a grey, dead city. It's like, and then the issue is what happens is the scene like dies every 3 years because all the students that build it then leave. And like no one wants to stay in Plymouth, so then like half the bands that you enjoyed that were local break up because they all just like no one stays.
What's wrong with Plymouth? They must have good fish and chips or something.
It's nice, man. It's such a great. It's honestly one of the only cities I've been to that's like genuinely the vibe of the city gets me down. Like it's so like there's nothing there. It's too far out.
Is it like Western-super-Mare?
No, it's worse. I'd say it's worse. It's worse. There's like no industry. The only thing that Plymouth has is the massive uni, the massive science uni. That's like it. And it's like, and then all you've got is these like kind of dead high streets that are just basically either they're for the students or all the students work there.
The waterfront is good. I've only been down the waterfront recently.
It can be very beautiful. It can be very beautiful, but it's just, I don't know. It's like, it's basically what happened is back in the day, you know, Plymouth invested very heavily in this idea that like malls and shopping centres were going to be like the future of Great Britain, and then they weren't, and so there's all these big kind of dead edifices in.
They are trying to get a music scene going again.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the research that I do, it comes up like with general Southwest kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's quite a few starting to.
Oh no, there always is. Like there's bands that have come out of, like we just meant, like we talked about Brotherhood of the Lake and stuff. There's bands that come out of Plymouth, but it just doesn't. He's never had like a concrete scene because, like I said, I tattoo so many students, right? All the students I talk to here in Bristol, they're all like, I want to move to Bristol, I want to stay in Bristol permanently, I want to stay here. You talk to like all the young people, all the students from Plymouth, I want to leave Plymouth, I want to leave Plymouth, I want to leave Plymouth. So no one wants to ever stay there. So like any local scene like never really survives that, you know?
I mean, at the moment, the punk scene down there is really good. Like, Hammers, who's runs Crew Cut Records, which both our records are put out on, has done a really good job of like doing what he's done in terms of the
There's always people flying the flag for Plymouth, and fair shout to them. But in general, it's like
it's just a place you'd associate with the.
I mean, I remember because I used to go to the White Rabbit, which was that used to be a bus station. It was literally like a venue in a bus station.
I still have a good memory of seeing each other die there.
I've seen quite a lot. Like, and they used to get big bands. So I've seen Suffocation there. I saw Gallows and Feed the Rhino there, weirdly enough, back in the day. I've seen Skindred there, played there, like, and it was tiny. It was like literally you go into the coach station in Plymouth, and there's just a venue there, like in the coach station. It was just there. It's still like I don't know whether it's still. Is this White Rabbit still there?
I'm pretty sure it's now just a bus station. I could be wrong.
Boo.
But like, I have a lot of respect for that venue, just because they brought so many bands in.
Yeah, they get like surprisingly big bands. Yeah, cool.
So you mentioned quite a few gigs you've been to. What's your favourite gig ever? Like that is just solidified in your brain as number one that you've been to?
I have so many, and it's an issue.
It's never an issue going to gigs, unless you can't hear us, then that becomes an issue.
There's ones that kind of stand out to me a lot. So like, I wouldn't say like best ever, but like there's definitely been ones where like they've kind of meant more. So like one that stands out to me a lot was I saw in the Croft when the Croft was still open.
I missed the Croft.
That was in Storkscroft, right?
Yeah, it's Crofters' Rights. It was now Crofters' Rights. So they all moved down, and it became. They all basically moved to the Exchange, didn't they? That's where we just were last night. So basically, they all kind of moved from there to the Exchange, and then that's
what happened. Why did everyone?
I don't know. I don't really know the ins and outs of it.
I don't really know the ins and outs either.
Yeah.
And I know a couple of the guys that run it quite well.
Yeah.
I would say at this point, but like, I don't know. It's
I
been a while,
don't know the ins and outs. But then it became, and now Crofters' Rights is shut again for some weird reason, so we're not quite sure.
The reason I heard last night was, and I'm happy to say it on here as well.
Go for it. Spill the tea.
We've had a lot of rants. Go have fun.
But basically, like from what I heard, like some guy bought it, being like, we'll go shut it for like 6 months. Yeah. And now it's just turned into indefinitely.
Yeah.
So I don't
I know. There's a lot of rumours. I've heard similar rumours. It's been bought out, and now the really sad thing is the rumour that's now I've heard as well circling around is like potentially then is sit on it, let it go to shit, and then try and get it redeveloped into something else.
It's gonna be flats
or something, you know.
It disgusts me.
That's a shame because that's a lot of potential up there.
I mean, but it's a historic place. Like we're talking about, like the Croft. Like I've played the Croft like a bunch of times when I was like in Acid Shark and other bands and stuff. Like it used to be really good for local bands. Like, you remember Acid Shark? Even Paul remembers Acid Shark.
This is a common theme. Everyone remembers Acid Shark.
I don't know why. The really shit grindcore band with oi punk vocals from 2011.
Cheeky plant there. Everyone go check them out.
There you go.
But what gig was it? Sorry, we
totally got sidetracked there.
So the gig I remember the most being there was Sheer Terror, Knuckle Dust. That was my first time I ever saw Knuckle Dust.
They're still going.
They're still going. Yeah. They've been going since 1991. If my memory serves me right.
London hardcore, like proper.
Listen, please, God, to anybody who listens to this. Listen to Time Won't Heal This by Knuckle Dust. It will change everything for you, like it did for me.
Great band.
And then like it was.
They weren't even the headliners. Or were
No, they were main support, I think. But like, it was also 33, who were a band made up of South Wales hardcore bands. I believe it was Ironclad and Wiretap. They were members of. It was their last show at the time I saw them. And then a band called Chains of Hate, who were also from South Wales, and it was also their last show outside of Wales.
So
Nice.
quite an emotional kind of like
Yeah,
show then for
but it
the
was
bands.
it was such a good show, and like a lot of just old hardcore people there, and it was.
And seeing the last shows and actual last shows, you know, it's always.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of hardcore bands last shows, and they're always.
Yeah,
sad,
unfortunately, I do notice that with the hardcore scene is bands tend to burn bright and then
yeah.
kind of
why.
yeah.
Although at the moment, like there's like a thing of like
Them getting back together.
bands,
yeah.
bands knowing that they've toured so much on the road at a specific point in time where like they now know that you don't need to tour all the time.
And
have your band still.
You
be
don't have to
popular.
flog yourself stupid
Yeah.
like touring every
So
single
like I
month,
think
like,
Have Heart realised that, hence
Yeah.
why they've kind of come back twice.
Yeah.
And I think I know that Foundation have
Yeah.
come back for FYA Fest
Yeah.
in the States, and
Yeah.
I think they're another band I think that
Yeah.
would know that.
'Cause,
There's a band called God's Hate as well, who are members of like loads of really sick hardcore bands in the States that no, they just can play on the weekend and that's fine.
Exactly, yeah, and I think but it was a big part of like the hardcore ethos. Definitely was this like really hard touring thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You tour all the fucking time. You're playing in
Every
basements.
venue, every
You're playing
night.
in someone's house. You're playing
Yeah.
here. You're playing there. Like all like
I feel
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, being that I'm a 32-year-old guy at this point, that's kind of missed as well.
Put you a day over 31.
Thank you very much. I feel that's like kind of the thing that's missed in like the touring thing is like I feel a lot of the younger bands don't really understand like the fact there's a grind to it. Like they're playing to nobody is part of it.
is part of it.
And
It's
I feel,
Yeah.
and it's only my own opinion on it anyway,
Yeah.
and people can just tell me
Go
to
for it, no,
go
go for
whatever.
it.
But like, I feel there's an acceptance of your show needs to be busy for your band.
That's
to,
the new generation of
know,
self-entitlement, though, isn't it?
a little
It's
bit.
like
yeah.
you're kind of in a band. You're like, well, of course people should go see me because I'm in a band.
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree to a certain extent. I've definitely noticed a little bit of that even here in Bristol with some younger bands that have started out, and it's like very much like it's literally bands that have just started. And it's like we're playing a headline set, and it's like, okay, who
Yeah.
are you?
Never heard of you.
Why are you? Like, never heard of you. It's like
I mean, I
yeah.
can only speak from experience the other day,
Yeah.
and like I still remember the. To be fair, this is funny as well. I remember this, but like, I remember my band playing the Fleece when the Fleece was still catering to local bands, really. For the
Yeah,
most part.
yeah, yeah.
And they just
It's
made.
gone a bit more tributey now.
Yeah, well, it was tributary then. Like there weren't really many.
But they used to
local
put
bands
these weird
playing.
medleys on, didn't they? Because
Yeah.
we ended up on some really weird
So,
bills.
so we played a show with. There used to be a band from Cheltenham called TLI, and also rest in peace Wes as well because he died in like a motorcycle accident. After this band like broke up or whatever. But like we played a show with them, and it was like basically we played to like their girlfriends.
Yeah.
Two of our friends that
Yeah.
managed to get in.
Yeah.
Two of our friends got turned away because they were like they hadn't turned 18 just yet.
Wow.
And
That's bad form by the security.
and then also the funniest part of it was two photographers that I'd paid to be there.
Nice. No, 100%.
Who are two of my friends now.
Yeah, I
Taking
literally.
pictures of the outside going, yep, great gig,
Yeah.
But
I
like,
literally I played exactly the same thing. We like acid shot, and I don't know why. For whatever reason, whoever was putting those police ones on, because our name kind of got around, and then they must have gone like, oh, these guys must bring, and they've got a funny name, so they're probably like some kind of weird, like kind of metalcore outfit. So they put us on like a bunch of times with these kind of emo-y metalcore things, and then we'd come on,
Grindcore.
do 25 minutes of grindcore, and then it'd be so funny, exactly that, like about two friends show up, we're playing to the other bands, and then what happened is all of the girlfriends in the bands would leave because we were horrific grindcore bands, but all their dads that had driven them there would stay, and then we'd come off and all the dads would be like, brilliant, best band of the night, guys, really enjoyed that, in like all their old like Napalm Death t-shirts and stuff. You know?
Love it.
The dads that have driven the emo bands like to the fucking venue.
I have another funny one of like just really badly attended shows. So like we played so that's played in Taunton think that was probably the last time I ever played in a tournament. Also,
Yeah.
We played basically upstairs of like some pub, the name of which I can't remember, and we were headlining.
Yeah.
I had to watch these bands supporting us cover like. I remember this one band, and there was a band that was on before us that covered like Me the Moocher.
Wow.
And it was so funny.
Yeah.
And then we played, did our set.
Yeah.
And there was like nothing but silence at the end of the set. Nobody clapped. Nobody did
really just dead.
anything.
Just
and we were just like, yeah, cool, and just packed up our set.
And I mean that's sometimes what touring is, you know. I mean it is that, you know.
And I feel that kind of thing is missed.
It's lost, and there was a camaraderie with it as well. It built camaraderie in a band. You know, you've been sat in a van for X amount of time. You're driving here, you're driving there. You know, you set up, you set down, you do all this. I do agree. Like, yeah, I think a bit of that. I think once again a balance. It would be good to see not like I don't want to go back to seeing young bands flogging themselves into the ground to like tour.
Yeah.
Like, but also at the same time, I think bringing back a bit of that kind of tour grind. I think it does build a band kind of together.
It builds humility.
It does.
And it builds a sense of like.
Yeah.
You think you're the shit, but you're not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
could be
you think you're the
that
shit,
nice.
and then you go and you play like, and there's like literally like two people just stood there staring at you, and like one of them's on their phone, and you're like, oh,
Another one's got their arms folded.
yeah.
For me, it just kind of gave me a drive of being like, I'm gonna.
And then you appreciate the show.
better.
So then when you play the show, when 50 people show up, 60 people show up, you're like, oh fuck yeah! There's so many people here! Like you know.
That was my exact same reaction when I played Outbreak.
There you go.
Because I expected there just to be fucking.
Yeah, because Outbreak, it was crazy. You looked like you had a really nice big crowd there.
Yeah, I think because I don't know for a fact, but like my Dan, our guitarist, was like, we probably played to about like 1,500 people.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
Kind of brings you on to one of the questions I was going to ask you actually. So you said about the gigs that you've seen. What about your favourite gig you've played as Perp Walk? Like, what's the
shit?
And if it's not last night when we were banging our heads,
I'm
very disappointed.
going to leave Outbreak Fest out of it because I can talk about it for ages because that's definitely one of the best shows I've ever done in my entire life. If we're talking, and there's loads because I played loads. It's really hard for me to kind of pick one. You know what? I'm kind of going to go back to this. So like, our first headliner is Perp Walk is really meaningful to me, and that's mainly because we headlined the Crofters' Rights, and
Is that the one that sold out really quickly? I showed up. This is when the first time I'd re-bumped into you back when I moved back to Bristol.
Yeah.
I literally went to this show and I was like, oh, Paul Collier's band Perp Walk. I'm just going to show up on it's the Crofters' Rights. I'll just show up. Got there. Done. It had been done. Like it is sold out. The tickets.
It sold out. It sold out that day.
Yeah, it sold out. Like, but it was there was only like I talked to the girl on the door, and she was like, "Oh, there was only like 5 tickets left on the door anyway."
Yeah.
Like it was done. Like it was
Awesome.
completely done.
And that show was
I bumped
meaningful
into
to
you
me.
outside,
That show was meaningful to me because like for ages I'd wanted to headline that main room and sell it out from when I was like 16 years old.
Yeah.
And,
Back
like,
when it was
that
Croft and
was
shit.
still,
Yeah.
When did you achieve this?
At that show.
That was last. Was that last year or the year before?
That was.
I think it was the year before.
The
It's
year
a couple of
before,
years
maybe.
ago now, isn't it? At least.
Yeah.
About 2 years.
It feels
ago.
like 5 years ago.
It was just weird. It was like the first year I moved back to Bristol, so it's got to be like 2 years ago.
It's still one of probably the most meaningful shows I've ever played. And
Basically.
also like probably one of the best because for when you're 16 you kind of hope to achieve that.
Yeah.
With any band you do, and to achieve it as a.
Especially like you've been going to that venue, like I said, you know, we've been in and around that venue for so long, and it's such a big part of our young adult
Bristol
years
scene.
and stuff, and part of the Bristol scene. Like
Going there and seeing like Turbo Wolf play there.
Yeah.
Which is mainly how I found out about like you could stage dive to a band that was like this far,
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
yay far away from you. And
Did you have stage divers when you played?
We did. We had a lot of two-steppers. I can't remember about stage divers. I think people definitely did stage dive. I can't remember how many there were.
That's badass. I'm glad it's a local one. I'm glad it's you've recently been touring around Canada and stuff. I'm glad that's that's just part of the job.
Canada was insane.
How did that come about? Tell us all the details.
Oh, Canada.
You're not my buddy, guy.
You're not my guy, friend.
Not my friend, buddy.
So For listeners,
Sorry, Canadians.
I've slept 12 hours because I've been jet lagged to hell. It was the most insane, gratifying time of my life, I think. Like it
How
was
long were you out there for?
So we toured. So I flew out earlier than everybody else because I had a friend in Buffalo in the States that I went to go visit for about a week. And then,
that's cool. So you actually got a bit of kind of like a little holiday before
yeah,
she went on tour.
and also she's come to see me like in the UK twice.
Oh, no, yeah, got to make the effort to go over there.
It's my first time. So
Still
it's
2-1 though, so
Shout out Sierra if you're listening.
yes, listen to it.
But then yeah, Canada.
How did it come
was
about?
insane.
Like,
So we've been talking to Bad Egg, who we toured with in Canada for a little while.
well, this isn't your first Canadian tour.
It was our first ever Canadian. It was probably our first tour ever. Actually, saying that we've not toured the UK at this point in time. So it was basically our first tour ever.
Wow.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
First tour overseas.
We have stuff in the pipeline for later in the year for the UK, but not.
You'll have to tell us the details.
They're not out yet, but I might.
Yay!
So
Secret info.
so we've been talking to Ballet for a while. We actually met them in Plymouth. We did like a fest.
Oh, that
in
crap town
Plymouth.
that you both hate.
Yeah. We did a fest there prior to Outbreak Fest where we met them for the first time, and they were the loveliest people.
So I'm
in the
guessing
world.
they're from Canada.
They're from Windsor, Ontario. They're based in Windsor, Ontario. They kind of live a little bit all over the place from that.
Cool.
So I know their bassist lives in Kitchener, and I know that their guitarist
I
Mitch
don't know,
lives.
my Canadian
in-
geography is...
I know
It's all within the
America.
Ontario region.
Yeah.
What I think, I forget where their guitarist lives, but it's like close to Hamilton, which was our last show on that tour. But all the shows were insane.
How long was the stint?
It was about a week and a half.
Every night?
It was the drives. I know the first 3 shows were kind of probably within an hour of each other in destination. We then went to like Ottawa and then played Quebec City, and there's a place outside of Quebec City called Cody Cook, which is like it's part of the Quebec City county, but it's like not far away from where Vermont is in the States. It's probably about a 5-10
So
minute
like
drive.
right down near the border then. Kind
Yeah.
of. Right.
Did you have proper tour bus or van, or what was your setup?
We kind of shared cars with Bad Egg. The Bad Egg basically just sorted everything out for us.
Oh, that's
We
nice.
solid.
used their gear. We
So you didn't have to bring your own gear at all?
Basically brought nothing. We brought like maybe like guitar pedals and stuff. That's probably the most we brought.
That definitely helps with flights.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's
And
not
like,
too bad.
like
for
we
luggage.
even had like merch like we had printed over there, and they were like amazing to us. Like just sort of
Badass. Shout out to them. Everyone who listens to this, check them out.
yeah. Shout out Bad Egg. Please go check them out if you're not familiar with them because they're amazing and the loveliest people in the world.
The Perp Walk is solid.
Yeah.
Like
That was really cool of them.
That's a really clever. It's just that thing. It's so funny. Back in the day, I never would have thought that, but like now, it's like makes so much sense. It's like instead of getting a load of T-shirts printed here and then having to like pay a shitload of money to like get them done in like haul luggage, you just go, you just send it to a Canadian.
get
As
them
long as you've
printed
got
over
an
there.
address that you can send them to in the country you're going to, then
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting as well because we found out it was like a lot more straightforward to tour there, say that in comparison to like touring the States, where we couldn't bring merch in, but we could sell stuff there, and we could bring stuff back as long as it's
You couldn't bring merch in.
no, and not as far as I'm aware.
Really?
Like,
is it like an intent to sell thing? It'll be some
Oh,
weird
right.
like you're bringing stuff with intent to sell, and you probably can't do that
Yeah.
on like a holiday visa.
That's a real kick in the balls for
Yeah.
bands, though, isn't it?
It's also kind of crazy that, like as you say, we could tour there on like basically on a holiday visa. We didn't have to get any special visas or anything like that to tour there, which is a thing for any musician who want to like go out to.
So it's actually easy to tour there.
Yeah.
America's a lot more strict, isn't it?
America's a lot more strict. We've looked into that before because we really want to play there.
Yeah.
But it's a thing of like
You need a musician's visa or
it's
something.
it's a lot of money, and also it's like if you want to do it like legitimately, because I know a lot of bands go across like illegitimately sometimes.
Yeah.
And kudos to them for even fucking
Yeah.
to do
It's
it.
basically I think if you get caught, like
It's more a thing of like they want to know that you're like a known person in their country essentially, or that you have a fan base to go there to play for. Where we have fucking no
exactly.
idea.
So that
like,
instantly makes like smaller bands like
all we get is like our fucking Spotify numbers for how much we listen to us. So that's not really like a basis for knowing there's a fan base out there for us to go.
That's really sad. It's funny
Right.
because we were talking, me and you, obviously on the group chat. Dave from Black City Records, shout out to Dave, did a big post on the group chat about like the Spotify stuff, wasn't it? Like how, and it's so sad to hear that like in a way that's what they're like. Oh, what are your Spotify numbers? You know, if your Spotify numbers are big enough, then we'll legally consider you a band that will let into the country.
Fill you in, basically, Dave gave us a message. He was like, Spotify give nothing to the artist. Literally getting 10 million streams means nothing. Like, it's all about physical media, physical merch, going to the gigs, etc. That really hit home at me, but like the fact that companies use that as a metric now, it's like, oh, well, what's your Spotify numbers? And
then Spotify can't even hold up their so-called end of the deal. Like they're still doing all the AI. They're still getting hacked all the time and having all this. I clicked on I thought Jesus Piece had released a new song the other day. Fucking clicked on it. Fucking weird like AI guitar riffs. Have you not heard about this?
No.
They keep on getting hacked. So all these AI lot. Like, it happened. I was listening to. I thought Guilt Trip had released a new song. This was like a few weeks ago.
Lots of bands like Fit for Autopsy had it.
Bunch.
Basically, there's people in Indonesia and all over the world that are creating AI to make music to sound like a band.
Not even sound like. It's like Dragon Force-esque fucking like video game guitar music.
AI as general thing scares me. I want nothing to fucking do with it.
But they've broke the security on Spotify, release it as, this band have now released music. Everyone clicks on it, and then it gets taken down because the band we didn't write that, that's not us at all. Come on, people. Gets taken down, whoever created it gets an ass load of money for their 10 million likes and views, and they just do it again.
Yeah, that's still the same to me.
It's bad.
Like, and I fell for it because I get excited. I opened up my Spotify.
Everyone does.
Jesus Piece have released. I love Jesus Piece. They've released a new song. Click on it straight away. Just like fuck, got me again. They got me again. And then it's bad because, like you said, they've got it, so then they make the money.
Yeah.
So it's like not even the band doesn't even see any of the streaming money. Sorry, completely derailed it completely there. It's just So for the States. So back to Canada then.
Yeah.
So touring around, obviously you've had to do like a bit
How
of
were
driving.
you received there?
To be fair, I expected us to play to fucking nobody, and I basically went into every show being like, wherever it is. Yeah. I'll be happy with.
You're in Canada playing music, so
be happy if we're playing to the sound guy.
Honestly, for like most of the run, which is again most of the run, the shows are amazing. Like,
that's awesome.
We couldn't have asked for better.
Was it just you and
Bad
Egg? You said
so. Us and Bad Egg. We played. There was loads of bands on each show supporting us. I'm gonna do them a disservice by trying to riff more off the top of my head, but they were for each show, most of the bands on each lineup were amazing. Yeah.
All Canadian or from all over?
All Canadian. We were very lucky to get a show really last minute as well in Quebec City. Supporting DOA, who are one of the basically for whatever Black Flag, Minor Threat, Bad Brains are for bands in the States. DOA are that band for Canada. They were in the first wave of the hardcore and punk bands that came out of Canada at that time.
Yeah, that's badass.
In the 80s, and we managed to play with them in Quebec City.
That's so
and
cool.
I was in fucking heaven.
That must be gone into the life bank of memories you'll have in your deathbed.
Yeah, they're the nicest people ever as well. I was astounded as to how nice they were to our band.
Down to
really
earth,
enjoyed,
not
really enjoyed it. I have fucking Joey Shitter's email in my phone, to be if you basically being if we ever want to show them again,
there you go.
That's amazing. Well done.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Which means so much to me because it's one of the first hardcore punk bands I found out about as well.
Yeah.
That's totally badass.
And then there's another story as well where Dan. So it was the talk of all of last night being Dan met Charlie from XCX.
I saw this on Instagram.
Yeah.
Met Charlie XCX in the airport.
So
Really?
Yeah.
So wasn't at the airport.
Unless you were steaming now you weren't there.
So wasn't at the airport. So
it wasn't at the airport.
It basically met them at an en route. It was basically a Canadian truck stop essentially. Yeah. I wasn't there for this because I was in a separate car to them. Basically Jamie was That's Charlie XCX, to Dan. Dan's obsessed. And like...
Because I saw he's got the hat.
Well, no. At the time, didn't have the hat. had to sprint to the car to get the hat when he found out.
Yeah.
I come back, and then she's on the phone at the moment at this point. She looks up, is like, I see you, to Dan, and then comes over and chats to...
That's because I saw the photo. Yeah.
And then like asked what they were doing there, etc. etc.
So he's prouder to have met her or played in Canada. Where's the,
Oh, I think met her. I think he.
Yeah, that's it. That was the tour done for him. He was well happy.
From like Montreal onwards, he just did not shut up.
See, gotta be honest, I would have been like that.
But it gets crazier as well because like somehow like the main station in Canada reaches out somehow through Connor's promotion company like Instagram to ask Dan for an interview about meeting Charlie. And I'm just like, what is happening?
Wow.
I think your interview was way better, just saying.
And I'm just like, what is happening? And then he goes in and talks about it, doesn't mention the band whatsoever. Like,
I'm a random guy that no one knows, and I met her. It's amazing.
So they were doing like little junkets about that. I heard like a separate thing about like Metallica playing in Toronto. They're doing little junkets about like seeing Metallica for the first time. So, as an example, did that to Dan essentially, and because they switched the questioning around at the same time, he didn't get a chance to like promote the band or anything like that.
Funny.
But he's the happiest I've ever seen.
I can imagine. I mean, he looked really happy in the photos. He looked well happy.
At the show we played last night with Spy, he had a printed out like picture of the Fabulous.
Really?
I was like, dude, I'm so happy this is the last show I'm playing forever.
God famous. That's it now. This is what's going to bring Perp Walk into the mainstream. Is this Charlie XCX?
I feel I would have done a bad service if I didn't bring that up. So,
no.
I had to.
I did see it on Insta. Yeah, it's so funny.
Speaking of the Spy gig,
oh yes,
you
talked about last night.
Toured Canada, then you came back, and the day after played in Bristol.
Yes.
And then you joined us on our podcast.
And you worked as well in there somewhere.
Yes.
Jesus.
I've never been more tired.
Do you like coffee?
In my entire life. But last night was sick. We played with Spy before. We played with them.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, we played with them in Newport at a fest called Repent Festival that happened at the Westgate Hotel in Newport last year, I want to say.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, they're so sick. And like I was going, I admittedly didn't stick around to watch them because like I'm running on like so much jet lag and stuff. So like I feel
different
bad.
Time zones and
the other guys did, and I've heard it was sick.
Because you literally came back, did a shift.
Yeah.
Then came and played the show.
Yeah. So I landed. so
that's metal to the core.
I flew out. It would have been 10 at night Canada time.
Yeah.
And then go back at like
sometime a different day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You told me yesterday that your
11
coach, you missed your coach Sunday, and stuff. And
missed my coach. I was meant to get at 12.
Yeah.
Could go back 45 minutes later. I would have had to get another one, which cost me about £70. Fuck you, National Express.
That can be a running team. Fuck that too. Fuck National Express.
And then there was like. And there was traffic in and around the Aztec West roundabout for Bristol.
There was a crash in 5 yesterday.
Could have been.
Which would have backed it up into Bristol.
And then like didn't go home till 7:30.
Wow.
Had to go to work.
Yeah.
Thankfully had leave so I could nap for an hour and a half.
Nice.
And then like came to the show.
Wow.
For what it's worth, you absolutely slayed it last night.
Smashed it, honestly.
I woke up at 2:30 today. I'm just going to put it out.
Finally got some sleep in.
Yesterday was a first for me in many occasions.
Listeners, I got Tom to a hardcore show.
Yeah.
I did it.
Finally broke me. So, first ever hardcore show. So, that was quite an experience.
Welcome.
I know, right? Not blowing your own horn here, but you and Spy were by far the best bands.
Thank you very much.
You absolutely tore the place apart. Yeah. Hardcore moshing is weird. I'll put that out there.
Yeah.
That's a unique experience.
It's an acquired taste, but it's one of those things where you've got to join in or
it
just
works.
be like...
I can see why it works, but it totally blew my mind.
He turned to me in the gig and he was like, it's like weirdly technical. Like they're all kind of... It looks like they're all just throwing hands, but there's like a kind of...
There's like an unwritten law in there that like, you know, you can throw shapes if there's no one going left and right, which is weird. What happened to circle pits, man? Come on.
Hey, I tried to get a circle pit going.
You did, yeah.
You did.
Nobody was taking.
Yeah.
It's the story of the can tour as well. Like, tried getting circle pits going. Nobody
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
wanted.
It's a linear pit.
It's like side to
I said,
side.
except our last show in Hampton, when there was nobody there, we managed to get like a circle pit going. That was sick.
Nice.
And then I think it happened in Montreal as well. If you remember.
Oh, there we go.
Montreal was violent as fuck. Like it was
Yeah?
it was like metal kids.
Yeah,
So,
so
like-
like the hardcore show. I love it.
So yeah, it was. I was. Bad Egg, in my opinion, had a better set than us at that Montreal show. I was scared. I was like, I don't want to fucking play the show because
Really?
I don't want to get fucking hit
It's
by
just,
metal.
right, metal kids just losing their minds.
Yeah.
Funnily, last night the penny kind of dropped for me. Like, I've gone to a lot of metal shows. Hardcore was my first one last night. But like, when you're at, let's say, a metalcore, deathcore, death, whatever,
Yeah.
the circle pits happen, and there's always one fella inside there who's like, just seems a bit off.
Yeah.
There's the hardcore kid
Yeah.
who's in
the
the circle
hardcore
pit,
kid
kind
at
of
the metal
going,
show.
why is there no linear pit going on?
Yeah.
So
To
yeah,
be fair, in that probably that circle pit, that's probably the hardcore kid being like, why isn't it? Why isn't it being fucking?
why are you hitting me?
I
Go
want
away!
Yeah. No, but it was a really good show. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, like shout out to Uncertainty
Yes.
and Tensions. Wait,
Yeah.
it is Tensions.
the
Stiff Meds.
the ten
Stiff Meds,
the
yeah.
10 sons.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But because you guys share a lot, there's a lot of member sharing going on.
yeah, so Dan, who plays guitar for us, is the singer for Tension, who are amazing.
And then the bassist in Tension, I don't know their name, is also the bassist in Uncertainty
yes,
as well. And
so
there's a lot.
Sylv plays in Tension and Uncertainty.
Yeah.
Again, both two.
Both Bristol based, right?
Yeah.
All
So
of them-
they're
all of them.
two of like the newer outfits that you kind of seen like kind of coming up definitely
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Uncertainty have been around for a bit now, but
Uncertainty have just put out a new record.
They did, yeah. I liked
which is
it.
really sick.
yeah,
Tension have one coming out soon.
that'd be cool.
I do not know when it's coming out. That's not
Yeah.
for me to know.
Yeah, fair enough.
I know it's coming out,
Yeah.
and apparently it sounds sick. So
Cool, awesome. Can't wait.
Considering you were on jet lag and tired and everything else, you really got the crowd
Yeah,
going.
you guys were going for it.
I tried.
If you remember as well, it was, you did really well.
What's your drummer's name? He's a tall drink of water. Jesus
so-
Christ.
So Jamie is his name, or Jay,
Jay.
as he likes to be called.
You can't be arsed
he
with
hits,
Jamie.
he hits hard as fuck.
Yeah,
Like,
he does. He's probably going for it. I was definitely not slightly perving on him from the back of the room. But it's fine. Hello.
He's a sweaty motherfucker.
No, sure.
He was very
He was
sweaty.
very sweaty. Well, all of you guys were sweaty, but it was really good. Like the vibe was really there. Like the crowd were like really going for it, which was quite nice.
Yeah.
Because like I have whinged a little bit sometimes. I do love the Bristol scene, but sometimes it can be a little bit horseshoey, and everyone's
Yeah.
kind of stood there.
We
Yeah.
as a band opposed to horseshoes.
No,
so please
exactly.
don't do
Yeah,
that shit.
yeah. Post the horseshoe.
But like the coolest thing last night for me, like, and this is probably like my highlight of my set, was we have a song called Demagogue where I shout our band's name, and
Yeah.
like it was the first time I got like piled on. Like,
Yes, I noticed.
for-
Yeah.
with that.
Everyone
And-
like jumped on.
and it was
Yeah.
probably the highlight of
Yeah.
my life.
People are,
So,
people are
it was
learning the
sick.
songs. They know when to shout along
It-
to the lyrics and stuff.
It-
Pretty cool feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really cool
Yeah.
feeling, and thank you to those who participated.
Yeah. A quick shout out, Stiff Meds. I really like them.
Love that
I
band.
saw them supporting Jesus Piece before. I really
Shout
enjoy Stiff Meds.
out to Seth if you're listening.
Yeah.
My only
you're a
problem
G.
with Stiff Meds was the bass was too high. It just rumbled
Yeah,
through everything. It was
yeah.
really hard to
Yeah.
hear everything else.
Yeah, they're really good drummer in there as well. But I really enjoyed it. Picked up one of their shirts.
Spy were very good.
Spy. I guess we have to talk about the headliners, don't we? So
I was
Spy,
not expecting the vocal
Yeah.
kind of gnarly, kind of nearly death metal.
Yeah. Kind of like they're really heavy. I really like them. I saw them at Outbreak last year. It's it's so funny. I just did such a noob
For all
thing.
our hardcore fans, go to Outbreak.
Yeah,
Felt like we
went and
mentioned it
stood.
10,000
I went and
times.
stood by the side of the stage and got my phone out like a fucking idiot. Was just like, "Oh, Spy are coming on!" and went to film it. I'm not joking. The video is like POV, and it's just Spy on stage, and then this kid just runs the stage and jumps directly at me. It's just me going, "Oh shit!" It's just like that.
I think you should put that in the socials later.
Yeah, if I could find it. Yeah, they were great. Kind of Cali, like I was telling you downstairs. Like they definitely have, like, obviously they're their own thing, but they've got a bit of that sound. It reminds me of like Trash Talk a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Cool. And I just really enjoyed it. I thought they were really, really good. It
was a good crowd there.
Really good crowd. Good turnout.
The funny thing, the other thing I'll bring up, so other than the first time at Exchange, good venue, shout out to Exchange, doing solid there. Local beers for community venue, excellent.
Yeah.
But like when you walk into a metal show, normally, like if you're trying to get into the crowd and into the pit area, people will just get out of your way and go, oh yeah, you go break your nose, whatever. Last night, I thought it was very funny. Everyone was crowded at the door, and like Theo and Jen were like in the middle. I was like, well, I'm going to go into my friends. And people were just stood there, just square-shouldered. I was like, can I get past, please? Yeah. And just completely blanked me. I was like, I'm bigger than you. I will get past. And there's loads of room. Why are you not letting me through? Like, come on. It was weird.
I had the same issues sometimes.
It was fun. It was a good night.
No, it's really good. Really good gig. Really
were you happy with the gig?
Yeah, really happy. Yeah. For being away for a week and a half to 3 weeks. Plus my holiday.
It's a good way to crown it.
It was a good way to come home.
Yeah, so. It's a good way to like crown it. I think. Like, definitely a good.
So what's next for Perp Walk then?
So
where are we going to see you? When's new music coming?
So
tell us the info.
We're not playing here for a while because we played here loads. That's the only reason we're not playing.
That's not a reason not to play.
We play here loads.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you guys. I mean, that's the thing, though. But you guys are the go-to, like, really good support because people know, and I'm guessing promoters know that you guys are going to bring people with you, and you're really
listeners. Check out Perp Walk. You won't be disappointed.
Yes, please.
And like them, follow them, and us.
Instagram perp_walk, please. Thank you.
And fuel for my fire.
Just piggyback on it.
We are currently writing a full length.
First full length, right?
Our first full length.
Nice.
We may have something out before then. I can't give too much away, but we played 2 new songs last night. And that's what I'm going to say.
I thought I had some new stuff.
Generally well received, I think.
I think so. We've been playing them, I think, for a little while as well. Like that also helps. But not sure how much in Bristol actually. I'll think of it, but that's an aside. We've got some more shows coming up elsewhere outside of Bristol. We've got a couple of weekenders that we're doing that have not been announced yet.
So check out the socials, keep your eyes out, ears out. And they soon.
They're going to be announced soon. I think we might be announcing a show in Cardiff tomorrow, which is part of that weekender, as far as I'm aware.
That's cool.
Which is a Halloween show. I know it clashes with 2 other shows, but please come if you can. I'm not
Support locals, come on, people.
I mean, one's in Bristol, one's in Swansea, and both lineups are sick.
Yeah,
I'm not going to advertise those shows because I don't want to. But like, we got stuff in
so there is lots of future plans by the sounds of it.
Yeah,
exciting times.
I'm trying to think of what shows we have like that are announced that I can talk about. So like we're playing in December. Warpath Fest in Birmingham. We're playing Yule Fest the day after that in Manchester.
Ooh, double festivals back to back.
Those are the 7th and the 8th of December.
Nice.
Outside of that, my memories are blank.
That's okay.
That's okay.
No worries.
Every one of our listeners, check out Perp Walk. Yeah. Follow them on the socials. Go see him live. You won't be disappointed.
Definitely love it. And it's great to see. It's great to see you doing so well. Honestly, dude. Like and the rest of the band. Like shout out to all of you. Mate. Like it's really awesome.
Thank you as well to yourself, and thank you guys for having me as well.
Hopefully we'll have you back when you have more news.
Absolutely,
as well.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, we'll talk more hardcore history. I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you ever played the Griffin or frequented the Griffin often? I assume so.
I have played the Griffin. I've put on shows here.
Yeah.
Some of my favourite gigs have been here before the
remodeling,
the whatever PA rig that's currently there.
When it was just 2 things on bar stools just at each side.
Those are my favourites. I used to do a lot of like local shows in here, like donation shows. And they've always been a good time. Everybody's always had fun whenever I put stuff on in here.
I'm guessing
not John. John's always hated it when I've put shit on.
We love you, John.
There's one instant I can think of where I put on a hardcore show in here at the same time when there was kegs of like beer there for a beer festival.
For a beer festival.
That he told me specifically
not
to let people dive off or put stuff on.
And of course,
there.
everyone climbs.
And of course, nobody fucking cared. So like, I'm sorry, John.
That is so
I love you.
hardcore. There's a beer cake. I'm gonna dive off of it. Of course I am.
And but yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No.
Well, I'm sure John would love to have you back.
Yeah.
You can play. For
I'm not as sure, but that's fine.
No, he loves you really. He loves you really.
I'm not sure if he does, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
Well, speaking of John, did a bit of Griffest stuff, didn't we?
We did.
That was this weekend gone as well. So yeah, you did the Friday. How was it?
It was very good. There was a pirate metal night on the Friday.
Yeah.
So the first band, Death Hat Fury, I think it was called, was very weird. They didn't really match the whole pirate thing. I initially heard them and was like, they kind of sound like Dropkick Murphys and Less Than Jake combined. And then they're like, let's do some ska. I was like, okay, sure. Second band came out. They were formerly called Pirates of Metal, and they're going to get a shout out now because I told them to follow us. So here you go. Now called Cutlass. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Think Judas Priest style instruments, maybe Maiden in there with kind of dueling guitars, flying V's, sweeping solos, amazing, but with Ailstorm type lyrics.
Okay.
So kind of not the high pitched vocals that you kind of expect from Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. Excellent, so fucking tight, really, really good. Red Rum came on then. They were the headliners for the Friday. I mean, they blew the place apart. Like
Nice.
they were very fun. And like I was looking them up, like they've done festivals and they're quite big. So this is a small gig for them.
Yeah.
And they're just fun. Like you were saying earlier, Paul, about sometimes you go to a gig and there's like 4 people there. Sometimes there's 1,000 people there.
Yeah.
They would play exactly the same energy to either scale. Like if there's 5 people in the crowd, who cares? If there's 1,000 people in the crowd, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, they were really fun. We did a pirate metal congo with the bass player while still playing bass.
Nice.
And like Griffin's kind of small, it's a 50 capacity, and they just said to him, was like, off you go. And he's like, cool, okay. And basically got everyone in a small, slow circle pit walking around the Griffin. It was so much fun.
Weirdly, I remember another show I've been to here. I honestly wish I could remember the bands and stuff. I remember there also being a Congo for whatever reason in here, and like it's weird to me because I can't remember which fucking band it is.
Oh, no, yeah.
That's something that should stand out,
That's
right?
so Griffin, though. Griffin is exactly the kind of venue where you get like a conga.
Stage dive off a barrel of beer or a Congo. And
conga line.
It's the kind of stuff that happens and stuff.
Yeah.
Which
Oh, I've got
blows
some.
my
I've
head.
got some mad stories of things I've seen putting on gigs here. Some mad stories.
go on, hit us with some.
Oh no. I'll save them for another time. There's some good ones. Some of the weird shit I've seen. But
Griffest Day 2.
Yeah. So I went to the Saturday,
Which is the Doomy Day. I see you're wearing a
which was
t-shirt.
the Doomy
Good
Day.
call.
So, well, funny enough, you say that. So I'm wearing the Battalion t-shirt because it's a really cool design. So I got one.
That is very
so
cool.
I came. I've got to be honest. This weekend has been busy for me, which is great tattoo-wise. But it does mean that Friday I tattooed for 9 hours and then Saturday I tattooed for 7.5 hours. So I was a little bit tired. And then I came to the gig, and as listeners all know, like the kind of doomy stuff isn't really fully my bag, but obviously wanted to come support and obviously then to review. So I came, I missed the first band, I'll be honest, because I was a bit late because I was running late with the tattooing. I came and it was Godless Sons. They were really cool. The problem is because they do all this like kind of magic. It's like a story. Like it's very like
Go on
kind
a
of
musical
like,
journey with it.
yeah, exactly that. Literally like kind of spoken word, kind of doomy riffs, kind of like prog stuff. And it was hot up here, and I was so tired. I literally felt myself. I was leaning up against the wall, and I was starting to go like they were so. Dude, I was like, listening
so
to a
sorry.
bedtime story. I was kind of starting to like nod off a little bit. Then Battalion came on. Shout out to them, driven 5 hours to get here. John
Which is the
Adams
t-shirt you're wearing.
It is the t-shirt I'm wearing. Completely not a doom band. Literally, Battalion are like Red Fang or something like heavier hitting like that, like really rock, really going for it, but like with like almost like kind of Converge-esque vocals over the top of it. Like they're really like heavy hitting, really went for it. Bassist is completely mad, singer's great. Chatted to him after the show. And then Witch Sorrow came on and headlined. Good, solid, like kind of doomy 3-piece kind of outfit.
That's
like
quite a big name.
I've heard good things about them, man.
which yeah, they're solid. They're solid. They're a solid band for sure. But yeah, like it was good. It was good. Definitely a much more chilled out day. There was no
Yeah.
conga. It was a much older crowd.
You mentioned Converge. I just want to throw this in.
Yeah.
We play with a band in Windsor called 027. literally the most insane fucking.
Yeah.
They played Jane Doe as a 3-piece.
Oh, really?
And I've never
Wow,
heard it
how
before.
How
So
did you do that?
I do not understand how.
For
this
the
band
listeners,
managed to-
Jane Doe is a really famous Converge song that's like, very
sorry.
like complex. So playing it as a 3-piece is quite a big accomplishment for
Insane. Shout 027.
But yeah, so yeah, no, it was
really.
good. It was solid. And then unfortunately Sunday I was so tired that I didn't go to Party Cannon. I was supposed to go. Obviously it was them and Pint Glass and Fecal Juice, but I was.
Love Pint Glass. They're hilarious.
Yeah, the work. Basically like Pint Glass, very hilarious. Kind of like guys from the work site, kind of doing hardcore.
If you like the word geezer thrown at you loads, and you like Stella, then they're the band.
They are. And I am gutted because apparently it was a really good show at the Feckler, and obviously we both missed the Sunday, but a friend of mine went and she said it was really, really good.
The Extreme Day and the Sunday for Griffest.
Like, apparently it was a really good time. So yeah,
Griffest already been planned for next year, so
got that, and then
Original
obviously
dates.
then we did Spy last night, and then which we'll be talking about in a couple of weeks' time is tomorrow for us is the Cannibal Corpse Municipal Waste show.
Immolation is the other one, and I can't remember the other one.
Yeah.
I still don't have a ticket. So I have a funny
Really?
one with this, right? So Cannibal Corpse announced. I was like, Cannibal Corpse, okay, whatever. I'm kind of interested because the whole beacon thing. But also, I've realised that when I said Cannibal Corpse, it's because I don't like their very original stuff. It's too raw and kind of I didn't really get with it. And since I heard them many, many years ago, I was kind of like, that's Cannibal Corpse, that's their sound.
Yeah.
It really isn't. And
No,
now I
they've
found myself
changed over
getting
the
more
years,
extreme. And I was listening for the last 2 days, I was like, I think I'm going to get a ticket.
Yeah.
But then when I was looking at tickets, like, only seated.
Yeah,
but
there's only a seat ones.
that could be fun
It could be,
because
I'm honestly now. I'm old. Like, apparently both Cannibal Corpse and Municipal Waste are playing over hour sets. So that's
Well,
why
go
the
on, sit
first
down.
band's on it. That's why the first band's on at 6:30. So now I'm like, they're going. I could do with a sit down. You know,
It's such a long set.
I know, right? Especially for like Municipal Waste and Cannibal Corpse.
Hey, Municipal Waste is sick anyway.
I love
I've
them.
seen them
Yeah,
before,
love them. First time I saw them was at the Croft.
Yeah,
years
I
ago.
saw them in Berlin. They were with weirdly with Mabel. I think they.
Yeah, but they're all in with that kind of like, and he's got his other band, hasn't he? Iron Reagan.
No, that's what Iron Reagan. That's what
Yeah, Iron Reagan. Yeah, they're great. The other.
But I met him afterwards. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Like the singer, I forget his name.
Yeah, I always forget. Yeah, but yeah, he's got another band. They're really good.
So I think I'm going to buy a ticket. Just simply because I know we complained that the Beacon's going to have seated tickets.
Yeah.
However, it'll be a
I
good
know.
contrast. You'll be in
I'll
the crowd
be there
sweating.
trying to trade with you. I'll be there trying to. Tom, can I sit down? Tom, let me sit down.
I was sitting there with a
I'm
tank in my
tired.
hand going,
Yeah,
oh, look
yeah,
at this,
yeah.
I'm like, da.
Yeah, I know.
And then this is a very busy week, right? So we mentioned in the last few episodes. On the day after that, we Battlesnake. Paul, you need to check out Battlesnake.
I will.
They're an
He's been trying to get
Australian-
me. He's been trying to get me to check out Battle.
An Australian piss take band. One of their songs is called I'm Vomit. And their videos are the cheapest thing you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
Think Queen and Judas Priest put together. Like, it's
sounds
theatrical, it's just ridiculous. I think it'd be very fun.
Well,
Fair
there's also I noticed two big tours get announced recently. Obituary have just announced.
Yes.
Have they?
Yeah,
I-
literally today, I think.
Bristol?
Yeah, they're playing SWX.
SWX.
Oh,
Bristol.
nice.
I'm excited because the only other tour I would have seen them on was their Sepultura run that they're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to
Yeah.
actually see them headline for once.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
only
yeah.
ever seen
And
Who's
SWX as
supporting?
well. I can't remember what it says. I think it's only one main. It's only one support. I can't remember who it is. I'm really sorry.
I'm keen for
But
that.
yeah, so I think is it in December? It's like
December, yeah.
December, yeah. So it's like soon. It's like not it's
That's
not
not-
next
yeah.
year.
I think the Bristol date's on the 6th.
6th
I'm
of,
pretty
6th
sure.
of December or something like that.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. And then the other
That's
big
very
one,
quick
which is,
announcement.
Yeah,
Like-
really, quick turnaround. Then the other one, which annoyingly isn't in Bristol, is the fucking Napalm Death Crowbar Full of Hell
I am
tour.
going.
Oh,
I am
Wait, which one are you going to go to?
Probably Liverpool because
Yeah.
it's on a Saturday.
Fair enough.
Where are they
Yeah.
playing?
Don't worry, weekends.
So, Liverpool, London, Birmingham? No, I
Yeah.
can't remember. Yeah, something like that. But it's not Bristol, which is annoying. And it's like Napalm Death, Crowbar, Full of Hell, and Brat. And it's
Yeah.
like
Oh, you've talked about
sick
Brat a few
line-
times.
Yeah, the sick lineup, and it's bonkers. Like seeing Crowbar and Napalm Death would be fucking awesome just on its own.
I saw Crowbar recently in Swansea.
Yeah.
And it's quite funny because Kurt Weinstein had never played Swansea before. Clearly, he was like, he walks out on stage and goes like, "Hello," the exact inflection of his voice.
Yeah.
Swansea. like, you can't remember the fucking name.
Yeah.
Because we've been touring for fucking like forever.
Which place is this?
And-
Where are we now?
I didn't try and pronounce it.
But also they were amazing.
Yeah,
so
Crowbar,
everybody who's
right.
not into Crowbar, get into Crowbar.
And obviously, like
right now.
Napalm Death, because I missed. Funny enough, the reason I missed Napalm Death the last time they toured and they were playing the O2 was because I literally got my tongue split the night that they played.
Oh, fuck.
I hadn't heard anything from the woman, and I was walking into town because I was like, I'm not hearing anything from her tonight. Then out of the blue, she just hits me up going, "Oh, I've managed to get the stuff to split your tongue. We can do it tonight." And I was like, "Okay." And I guess messaged my mate. I was like, "Here's a free Napalm Death ticket. I'm gonna go get my tongue cut in half."
And you didn't give it to me. Why?
No, I'm so sorry. But yeah, no. It's there's two big ones that I've noticed that have popped up. So.
I think the only real big one I'm aware of, well, two big ones I'm aware of. Again, not really Bristol. Iron Maiden doing their 50th year anniversary.
When will it end?
They're only doing the first 9 albums.
I know,
which is crazy.
I know. It's just the listeners at this point know. The listeners at this point know my feelings on this. Like, look, I love Iron Maiden. I'd like some of I've seen them live before, but it's like. Why are we gonna give up the legacy bands? I just don't. I'm sorry. I'm sure the people are excited. I'm just like, cool.
I would see them because they're one of like the first metal bands I've listened to.
Yeah.
But I agree with you.
Yeah.
They need to retire.
It needs to end.
It just needs to. So there's a bunch, Metallica, like all this stuff, like just.
Fuel Rock Club in Cardiff needs a reason to not exist anymore. Please let it be, because
I do like Fuel in Cardiff.
Yeah, just kidding.
The other big one, which is probably more of everyone's street, Cattle Decapitation.
Cattle, yes, I heard about that. Yeah.
Shadow of Intent, Revocation, which I'm very excited by.
Yes.
Are playing Marble Factory on the 31st of January next year.
That'll be a good show.
That's going to be badass.
Yeah.
And then I think, because I guess we're nearing the end, other news, Vile Maya, we were supposed to go see him in
they
3
pulled
weeks'
out. They've
time.
gone on permanent hiatus, haven't they?
And it's been very quiet about it. They've just stopped touring all
just
festivals.
cancelled everything. I don't know what's happening with that tour, whether they're going to keep it going, whether Signs of the Swarm are still going to go or not.
I don't know. The Bristol one hasn't been cancelled yet.
Well, maybe they're seeing if they can pull in another band. Maybe
I don't think Signs of the Swarm would be equivalent.
Not enough to headline the places that they're playing, because Vale and Maya are much bigger than them. I don't think.
So I don't know if they're going to pull someone in last minute or
maybe. I
don't know. Hopefully everything's okay in that camp because
it's very very like cryptic.
Yeah, they're just kind of we're on permanent hiatus. We need to start the shit out.
Yeah, and it's just like and it wasn't like somebody's ill or somebody's this. It was literally we have to sort out our stuff.
The future
of the band or something is very like cryptic. I know, right? Yeah. It's not saying like somebody got hurt or is ill to play.
It's basically they have toured a lot and they have been touring heavily. Yeah. They're one of those grind like touring bands.
They tour a lot. To be fair to them.
So maybe that's it. They've just worn themselves
out.
I don't
know. Maybe I mean it's all just like guessing at this point, but hopefully they're okay.
Yeah, they've just gone radio silent synth.
No, we'll have to see.
The other two things I would like to bring up. Anyone a fan of Gojira? Not Gojira, Gojira.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I'm not a massive.
I know of them. I wouldn't. I haven't listened to any of their music, unfortunately.
Their lead singer and founder died.
I have heard about that.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
So I assume that was probably the end of the band. I would have thought.
Wow, yeah.
Which is a bit of a sad news. And then the only other real news I want to bring up. There's a few other gigs I can mention if we have time. Has anyone heard the new Whitechapel song?
I haven't listened to it yet. You told me to listen to it.
Oh my god,
I haven't
it's
yet
incredible.
Yeah.
You say you haven't, Paul?
No.
Oh my god, I listened to it. It is the heaviest song they have ever done by far.
I like Whitechapel.
I'm upset now actually because I had the opportunity to go see. It was Lorna Shore, Whitechapel, Kubla Kai,
Christ, that's a hell of a lineup.
and Sangui Sugabog in Toronto. It was sold out, so I'm
not surprised.
Yeah.
And like resale tickets were crazy money, so I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But
That is a cool lineup, though.
I know,
Yeah,
it was
that's
so
awesome.
sick. And I wanted to go, and I was like, I couldn't. I'm not going to justify
It's
it.
always but
I can't spend all my earnings here.
The Americas always get these amazing tours, though. They always you see some
Like the Corn one. The Corn one in the UK, it was it was okay lineup.
Yeah.
The Corn one in the US.
Yeah, it's mad.
fucking mental.
Yeah.
So the new song after I heard it, I literally stopped and just went,
Yeah.
oh.
I'll probably listen to that on my walk home, to be fair.
I think we should put it on downstairs when we go down.
Yeah.
For
Good
chill
idea.
out.
Ask
We'll go
Pat
down.
to put it on.
So yeah, unless anyone has anything else they would like to bring up, any local gigs and any gigs you're going to or are excited by, or
Listen to Perp Walk, please.
yes, please listen to Perp Walk.
Listen to Perp Walk.
If you're in Cardiff on Saturday, my friends in Acid Horror, who are a sick crossover thrash band headlining Club Evil Bark or Welsh Club to the non-Welsh.
Crossover band,
Yeah.
as in multiple styles, or
They do sound like Iron Age and Power Trip and stuff like that.
cool.
Go into that.
Yeah.
So like, go to that if you're in Wales. If you're here, my friends in Harriet are playing.
Oh, Harriet.
in
the album launch.
Are playing the album launch over in.
It's sold out,
the Exchange.
That's Friday, right?
Stab a person for a ticket if you're
Yeah,
after it.
I
It's
really
amazing.
want to go. I'm so
My friends in
gutted.
Cauldron are playing on that too, as well as Plague
Yeah.
Pit. So go to that.
Yeah, I
if you're
can't
about.
Do you have a ticket, Paul?
Harriet will
I
be
do
good.
not. Hence why I'm going to the Acid Horror show in
Yeah.
Wales.
Well, I'm waiting because Harriet are obviously they're supporting Dying Fetus and no Fit for an Autopsy.
Yes.
I keep on getting the gig wrong. Sorry, Harriet, every time. No, they're supporting Fit for an Autopsy and Silosis. So
Shout
see him then anyway.
shout Jake as well from that band, because without him, both our records wouldn't be mastered and we'd sound like
is
shit.
he the like lead singery bassist?
He's the bassist
Yeah.
/ singer.
Yeah. He's the one I was chatting about like last time that I see.
He also works in Three Brothers, where all three of the brothers make you burgers and shit. So.
Yeah. Because he lives in Bristol, doesn't he? So,
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the Harriet album. But yeah, I think,
think-
Paul, honestly, thank you so much. And,
Yes,
and
thank
we'd
you.
really love to get you back on to talk more like kind of hardcore and
Yeah,
hardcore history
absolutely.
and local scenes and stuff.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It means a lot that you'd even invite me on. So
No,
thank you.
honestly, mate.
Means a
like-
lot to us. Thank
yeah.
you. Like,
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you.
and I think that brings us nicely to the end of episode 6.
Yeah, well, thank
So-
you very much. It's been a pleasure.
It has. I'm Tom, here with Theo and Paul from Perp Walk.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a bit.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.